There must be a winner this evening in Bloemfontein as they cross paths again, this time in the last 32 of the Nedbank Cup. Welcome to Mangong's Dr. Petrus Siwelele Stadium on what has been a rather warm Sunday, but there's now thunder rumbling around and grey clouds overhead as the rain has begun to fall, with the hosts making their Nedbank Cup debut today in the City of Roses. So it's the third time this season. It's Siwelele against Richards Bay. In fact, the last match Siwelele played was against Richards Bay. They make 5 changes from that lineup with Apiwile Beliti in for Nerapo. Bilal Baloy is back for the first time in over a year, with Konyani making way. Kapi Moralo and Kampani Lungu drop to the bench. Sakele Lepasa has a slight injury. Income Mukwane, Ohizu and Potsane, who's back from suspension. Here's how Richards Bay line up. 4 changes from the side. Drew 2-all with Lamont for Golden Arrows in the league. Timbelis Kakane is in for his debut, having sat on the bench as an unused substitute last 2 matches. Mabuya drops to the bench. Sabu Mpaneka plays for the first time in just over 3 months. Tabani Zuke shifts to the midfield to accommodate him. Butizwa drops to the bench. Tetwa and Tembu are out. That means Siyabonga Nzama, a youngster who does have experience in this cup with Milford previously, as well as former player Sanele Barnes, who made a little cameo in the league last time out, features in the 11 for Richards Bay for the first time since his return. Siema, who actually has a pretty good Nedbank Cup record, has only been knocked out at this stage once before, as Lani Quindo consults with the respective captains. He'll be assisted by Clement Baloy and Romario Piri today. Bilal Baloy, how will he adapt to having spent 13 months or so on the sidelines for various different injuries over the course of that year? But he's been installed at the back today as Richards Bay, the visitors, get us underway here in the City of Roses at the Dr. Siwelele Stadium. 2 draws between these sides already. Richards Bay become the first side that Siwelele face for a 3rd time in their history since their inception at the very beginning of this campaign. And the 2nd team that they'll be facing in both the league and cup. The first side that they faced in both competitions was Orlando Pirates, lost 1-0 in the league, and then by a solitary goal again in the first round of the Carling journey this season. As they get on the front foot fairly early here, the ball played in and just wouldn't sit up correctly for Pule. Follows there. Looking to make himself an impact down the right, whilst Baliti last season against Cape Town City with Skukuni United.
Already you can see the impact of the wet grass, the ball, how slippery it is and how it moves beautifully through.
So that's actually aiding the surface here as Sikhota isn't quite get on the same page, same line of thinking as Mahmoud Sikhota, who scored a first league goal since 2021 when these sides met fortnight back. Now, long-range effort, 27 seconds into the match to take a huge deflection off Tabani Zuke, to be fair. Pule hangs it up towards the back post, and whilst he'd been able to escape his marker, Uhizu couldn't make a clean connection. Ran on loan from Skukuni United. Coach knows him well from his time there. The last time he scored was with Babina Noko at the very beginning of May against Magesi, which actually ended a run in which he had scored 6 goals in 7 matches, but he is without one so far this season. He and many other SuperSport United players would like to wipe from their memory, and that is the 2023 defeat of Dondal Stars.
Looking at this opportunity that fell for Hughes, yeah.
This particular game. Now save and an excellent one from Otieno. Was perhaps surprised by the angle at which that was taken on.
I can tell you, he didn't seem ready at all. As Magomed picks it up and he turns, and from that tight angle he goes for glory. And at the time, I think the goalkeeper was still going to set himself up to see where is it more likely to go. But great reaction nonetheless. He gets a fingertip to it to do it over.
Carlos hasn't kept all too many clean sheets over the course of his 16 previous Nedbank Cup outings, just 4 in total. That one is towards Luni Mahala. It's the player you want to be finding from that position.
And he out-jumps the defender, but the one thing he fails to do is direct his header towards goal.
Jigs back inside brilliantly. This is Pule. Played into space for Sikhota. Suke away. Only as far as Machaman takes it on. Oh! Grand Machaman has left Otieno rooted to the spot as he drills it into the bottom corner to give Siwelele the lead.
A well-struck ball. I mean, under these conditions, even though it makes it even harder for the goalkeeper to well to serve a ground shot. But the decisiveness, as soon as he picked up the ball and there was no immediate pressure, you'll see as it does. And you mentioned earlier that he's got this down shot about him when given the opportunity from some range, and he produced that same magic once again. That's a beauty. Like I said, even more difficult under these conditions. But I want to see this. I think the way he doesn't react much, it looks like he was unsighted. It's a poor clearance from the captain. Man, yes, completely unsighted. 2 defenders in line with that. He sees it very late. There's very little he can do about it. Wow. With the laces. Man, that's a beauty. That's the kind of leadership you need. You don't want him to be running the line up and down.
Oh, Hizu now. Still he has it. He's almost wriggled his way past 4 players there. Challenge from Yema.
Yangemo at the foul. So it turns into Mokawani. Look at how forceful he's always here. Yeah. Dealing with 2 defenders, he's being held back, he's being cluttered into from all around. And yes, he should have gotten it to see him shave here. But I guess been maybe a little off pace to pick that one up, but clearly it was manhandled.
Loud call from Otieno. Train that one ahead. Suke. Pule puts it in. It's a decent delivery. Sanoka to Mokwane. Mokwane. That effort.
Yeah, 2 Super Sport players misses the ball right in the area.
Mokwane was actually in the Free State Stars team back in 2019 that were knocked out by a first division Richards Bay. Was it a decade and a half back, 14 years ago now, as the ball is in from Barnes. Great awareness from Apiwa Baliti, who just incredible there to go over his head, having clearly scanned moments before and realizing no one was.
Incredible. That for me so far in this first half, Baliti has been excellent. I mean, just at the last second, he drops his head.
It's because the only player who could potentially threaten him has just run in front of him, and he knows that. presents Richards Bay an opportunity to draw level on the stroke of half-time, as was the case when they met 2 weeks ago, although in that instance was from the penalty spot, so the likelihood was much higher. But here is Barnes. That's good delivery, and it's come all the way through. Well, a combination of the woodwork and perhaps some kind of intervention from Ricardo Goss, although from such close range he might have known very little about it. And coming out for the second half against Richards Bay here in the last 32 of the Nedbank Cup. Those that have braved the bad weather, although to be fair, arriving at the stadium it wasn't all too nasty. Have been enjoying quite the outing. Well, once upon a time, he played for a team where they used to say follow the birds. And this is the man, Grant Machaman, whose goal separates these two sides. 4 of the last 5 goals he's netted in professional football have come from outside the box. He's a bit of a specialist as we welcome a new player to the park here. It's Leander Kumalo coming on for Wandile Ngema. And this will be by far the most minutes he's ever received, coming off the bench for the 4th time in all competitions this season. Played a little cameo against Sundowns last year and got about half an hour against Auburn College. But let's see what Leander Kumalo can manage here. Aside from Midlands Wanderers, where he's mostly playing DDC football. He's on the ball since his arrival in the off-season. He's promptly lost it though, as Kumalo. Respectively. Now this is Grant Machaman. Machaman! No! Forces a great save out of Otieno. Looking for the bottom corner once again. But this time, the Kenyan responds.
But I guess the difference is that his sole ball took off from the foot of Machaman. But this time even better for Machaman because he puts it the opposite side from where he's got the first one. Excellent reaction nonetheless.
Yeah.
And I mentioned these ones that hits the grass in that fashion in this kind of conditions, very difficult to save.
It's turned on swiftly now to Mtungwa. Oh. Well,
they are pushing forward in numbers for that matter. I mean, in the center there was about 2. There was another one on the far side, and there was such a flood of blues following up also from behind. Look at that.
Tungwa turned in field for Nzama, given away to Potsani. Here's Ohizu, angles tight. Ohizu gets plenty power behind that. Otieno gets 2 gloves behind the shot.
I don't see him dealing with it any other way than just putting his hands or his fist behind the shot and punching it away. Great reaction. He's not even looking who's in the first side, and he didn't need to do that. If you're close enough and you put the right power, anything can happen.
Good little turn from Ohizu, is hanging off the shoulder of the second to last man, so remained on side this time around. Spoiled for choice in terms of young left-footed centre halves. Now the shot, oh! It's gone in from Spangani Zulu, redeployed to the midfield. He's had a go. He's found the equaliser.
I still must see just where was Goss. And because he goes the wrong way, and he stretches his foot instead of diving to the side to make the stop. So it's a question of maybe he didn't see it. I don't think there was a deflection, because that's the other thing that could put a goalkeeper into that type of situation. Yes, deflection. That can only... deflection comes from Mahala. Oh, wrong-footed there. It's a good shot nonetheless, but it deflects from Mahala into goal.
The goal will actually go down as Lundi Mahala's goal. Lundi Mahala putting it in for Gumede! Wide of the mark. What an impact that would have been.
He's another fantastic player. His plays has inverted. He comes from the left-hand side and he cuts into the inside, which is what nearly happened here. Very lucky, he doesn't wrap his foot over the ball.
Skakani. Barnes, and it's coming from Kumalo. Tungwa. Tungwa's put it in. And able to make a connection. It's a lot of time.
Yeah, he doesn't quite get it to the head. I think the ball hits him around the chest, which is why he doesn't quite get it.
There's nothing to separate these two sides upon the conclusion of the 90, but this is a cup meeting and we will go into extra time. It's the 6th time in 2026 in the Nedbank Cup, last 32, and we have to go beyond the 90. We saw it on a Friday, Durban City getting the better of Chippa United in a game that eventually went to penalties. Wild penalty shootout there. And then yesterday, Uppington City upsetting the Premiership side, Magesi, also on penalties after that game went to extra time. And here we are, moving into an additional 30 once again with Siwelele and Richards Bay deadlocked at 1-1. Connected by Skakani. Barnes with plenty of space to measure this in. Now on the turn, Gumede leaves it. Oh, it's flown in! Luni Mahala reacts quickest. Not the first time that he has scored in a cup competition this season. Netted a couple in the League Cup, one of which did come in the extra time period. He is their man in form.
Well, great work. You've got to give it to Barnes, who has time here, no immediate pressure, measures his cross to perfection. There's enough running into the box. That for me was very key. The number of players sent into that box, and that poor reaction from the defenders tells a story of players that are now tired.
Yeah.
Lack of reaction for me, that is what is playing to me. Super Sport defense there couldn't react quickest. Sometimes you don't have to see to react. You got to anticipate.
The 5 goals he has in this competition have all come in the last 7 appearances he's made, as Bilal Baloy, sensing Mahala behind him, has made a bit of a hash of this. Sanele Barnes to Mahala! Running riots against a rugged Siwelele, who seem to be feeling the effects of this game, heading beyond the 90.
Baloy has a chance to clear, but I think that's where the problem starts from. I think there was contact made and he's injured and he can't get up to make the chase. And then from there, it's a 2 versus 1. Easy for the ball to be rolled across to Mahala, who had acres of space and time. There is Baloy down, he can't get up. And Barnes here does the right thing, rolls it across to Mahala, who's unmarked, as all the time, slots it to the net.
Well, you have to feel for Baloy in this situation, imploring the dugout to relieve him of his centre-half duties earlier in the match, and you just don't see Siwelele coming back from this now.
No.
Balungu and in! Well, just when it looks safe for Richards Bay, they concede again.
Set piece. unable to clear effectively. The ball bobbles around. Eventually, that's not even clear who finally gets the touch to push the ball across. The slow-mo will get to tell us exactly who got the final touch. An own goal, Zuke is the man as he tries to make the clearance. Yeah, he's on the far side. How unfortunate can you be?
It might not actually be his own goal, was the touch. And right back is being prepared. Now, a man light currently, though, is Ngwato. Plays it to the edge of the area. Still a chance here. And then
Lutuli, I think it is.
they have equalized. And the impact has indeed come off the bench from Siwelele Lutuli.
As my focus is that get the ball a little bit wide to the left-hand side. Ngwato has shown more hunger and aggression. And if he's able to get read of the fullback, there's a better chance for a delivery to find somebody in the box. And I think that's exactly is how this one went. We have to see exactly how the development of that movement came about. But definitely a little bit of width. Yes, this is the one that crosses. I'm not sure who took it earlier. Nice and low, across the face of goal from Lutuli.
His first ever goal in the Nedbank Cup. It's a cracking finish as well. Morales ball. Final whistle sounds. To penalties we go at the Dr. Petrus Mulumela Stadium here in Mangaung. They had it within their grasp, a spot in the last 16. Richards Bay raced into a 2-goal lead in the first period. Advantage. Barnes is denied by Goss. Smacks off that extra time period where they were 2 goals ahead. Moralo, unerring. It's 3-1. And they're still alive. But only just.
Only just.
Otieno has kept it out. Scorer in extra time. The Lutuli is missed. Certainly some controversy as Otieno rolls it past Ricardo Goss. Well, what a topsy-turvy tussle this has been. A game in which Siwelele took the lead, saw it cancelled out. The game headed into extra time where the Natal Rich boys raced into a 2-goal lead, only to see that advantage squandered. Then came the penalty shootout, where first they had the advantage, then ceded it to Siwelele, who couldn't apply the finishing touch with the final kick of the original 10 taken, before Otieno emerges as the hero with the final successful penalty. 1-1 after 90 minutes, 3-3 after 120. Richards Bay win it 4-3. On penalties, they are through to the last 16.
The PSL presents